Hello. Let's go thrifting. So one of the things I wanted to do more of this year was one, shop a lot more secondhand, and two, do that shopping in person. I am very much an online shopper. For me personally, with online shopping, I find it's a lot easier for me to sort of like fixate on a product and kind of think about it until I feel like I need to buy it. And I feel like it also just creates a lot of like back and forth because you can't really tell what the product actually feels like. You haven't been able to try it on. You can't really check the quality as good as online shopping is these days with like videos and close-up shots and things like that. But I also feel like with online shopping, that idea of leisure and just like being within your community is sort of taken away. And I wanted to do that a little bit more, especially living in a city like Toronto where there's so many cool secondhand shops, vintage shops, little boutiques to check out. So one of my goals this year was to do that a lot more. And that's what we're gonna do today. So I'm gonna take you with me to some of my favorite consignment stores and vintage shops right here in Toronto and one of my favorite thrift stores. I've gotten so many requests for this too, so I hope you enjoy. So let's get ready to go. That means the hair has gotta go back. I cannot have it in my face. All right, so now that we look like a founding father, I wanna quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Merit. I am so excited to be working with them. I've been using Merit products for years now, and I just love them because it's so easy. I don't like to take more than 5 to 10 minutes to get ready every day, and I'm not really good at makeup, so their products make it really easy. So Merit sent me their weekday set, which comes with this cute little iconic makeup bag. I love it. It's like a little purse, but it holds everything you need, and the weekday set comes with everything you need to do a full face of makeup in under 5 to 10 minutes every day, which is what I'm all about. I don't really love to wear a full face of makeup. I like to keep it really glowy and natural, and Merit products are some of my absolute favorites. I wear one every single day. Like, this is my blush that I've had for the past year. I've completely flattened it out. So this is the perfect cool tone pink. It's in the color Stockholm, and it's just like really balmy and creamy. It goes on really sheer, so it's really easy to work with. It's really kind of mistake proof if you're not really great at makeup, and I like that you can just blend it in with your fingers. So it's really, really forgiving, especially if you don't have a lot of time or just don't want to be very precise with your makeup. So I'm just gonna put my sunscreen on. I'm gonna start with the Merit Minimalist Stick. I really like this because you can use it as a foundation or a concealer. And if you don't like a lot of heavy makeup, but still want something that gives you a little bit of coverage, I love this. So I'm only just gonna put it in the places where I need it. And the Minimalist set does come with the #1 brush from Merit. This is one of my favorite brushes. It's so soft, but really densely packed. So it just blends everything out so easily. I use it to blend out my blush, my concealer, my foundation, my bronzer, but you can also just use your fingers and it'll work really, really well. I just like this product because a lot of foundations for me tend to stick to my dry patches, especially around my under eyes and right around here because I use retinol or I get a lot of peeling around my mouth. And this one doesn't do that for me. So it's kind of really nice and creamy and hydrating. So it just kind of like takes away the redness for me. I just want my skin to look like skin. And I just got my eyebrows microbladed. I still need to get a touch-up done, but the Minimalist set does come with the Brow 1980. I got it in brown. Look at this packaging, it's so nice. So I'm just gonna put a little brow gel on it. With whatever little brows I have, I'm just going to push them up. And this is something that's actually new to me, is the Bronze Balm from Merit. So I'm just gonna put it on my cheeks and forehead, just like maybe a little on my nose, just to give a bit of color to my face. But it just blends out so easily. And then in the Minimalist set that they sent me, I chose the shade Cheeky, which is kind of like a plummy reddish color. But I think today I'm just gonna stick with my tried and true Stockholm. So I just put that on my cheeks. I'm just gonna put the excess on my eyes. Then a little bit of highlighter. I always just put it on the top of my cheeks and kind of around my eyes to give that little like shimmer. Curl the lashes. And then finishing off with the Clean Lash Mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras like ever. I have purchased this myself and repurchased it many times. It's just like a really easy, everyday, natural mascara that it lifts, it separates, and most importantly, it doesn't flake into my eyes. A lot of mascaras I find really irritating and make my eyes water. So I find this one, it just lasts all day. It looks really natural. And so many of you have recommended this one to me, so I'm glad I finally got hip to it. And I'm just gonna put some cheeky on my lips, which is more of like a plum. So that's it for my makeup. You can see it's just really clean, natural, really just nice and glowy, and it literally took me under 5 minutes. Thank you so much to Merit for sponsoring today's video, and if you want to get all this in the weekday set, you can save $22 by clicking the link in the description below. And every first order with Merit comes with their signature makeup bag, and you'll get free shipping if you spend more than $40. Thanks, Merit. All right, let's go thrifting. I am dressing for comfort today, so I just have my black cotton hoodie on. These are some Adidas trackies that I got. I'm really just into this sort of sporty kind of aesthetic with like a really sweet and feminine shoe, and then wearing it with like this super elevated jacket. This is from a brand straight from Kyiv from Ukraine called Bazan. I fell in love with it when I saw it. It's just super unique. I'm a big fan of outerwear, and I just love how sort of like sharp and structured and polished it is. It's like really got these like severe shoulder pads, so I think it looks really cool and interesting with a more sporty, casual look. I got my Songmont tote bag, my colorful standard socks, red socks, pop of red, it's kind of fun, and then some silver ballet flats. It's cozy, it's easy, but I still feel really cool and elevated because of the contrast that's going on here. And I'm trying to wear my hair curly today. It's frizzing out. I don't know what to do. Share your best products in the comments below. But let's go. All right. So let's go thrifting. I started off in the Dundas West area of Toronto. So it is in the west end of Toronto. One of the neighborhoods, you might call it, is Little Portugal. If you're ever in Toronto, this is a untapped gem of awesome thrift shops. A lot of them are independent. They're curated, high-end, and there's a really nice mix of luxury consignment, more curated vintage, and then that kind of messy punk rock, gotta sift through each piece type of hidden gem vintage shops. So if you're ever in Toronto, this is a great place to start. Okay, we've arrived, but we're getting coffee first.
Coffee.
So to start off the thrifting trip, I wanted to stop at VSP Consignment. This is one of my favorite luxury secondhand consignment shops in Toronto. It's beautifully curated. There's a nice mix of high and low. So they carry your luxury brands like Loewe, Hermes, Chanel, and then they also carry things like Aritzia, Goldie, more mid-tier brands. So there really is something for everybody here. And if you have some time, it is a really fun store to dig through. Everything is organized by color and by type, and oftentimes it's quite a seasonal arrangement of items. So if you're looking for winter stuff in the summer, you might not have much luck. So it's really important to think about what season you're shopping for if you come here. For me, I had the shoes in mind, so I kind of beelined it there. And pretty much right away, I spotted these biker boots. These were really, really cute and cool. I couldn't really tell if they were going to be my size, so I did try them on. They were a little bit pricey for what I wanted. I think they wanted around 200 or 300 Canadian. So that is the one thing about luxury consignment. You're going to definitely pay more, but if you're looking for a name brand specifically, then to me, this is kind of the way to go. Pre-loved, gently loved, that's sort of the vibe. But you're still going to be spending some money. So if you're on a budget, it may be hit or miss here. But on my wish list primarily, we had biker boots and we had those severe, cool 90s, early 2000s kind of pointed toe slingback on my mind. So that's kind of what I searched through. I basically kind of go directly to the area that has my sizing. I'm anywhere between a size 6.5 to a 7. And once I got there, all I really do is just sort of scan around and see what catches my eye. There were a lot of cute ballet flats, loafers, like look at these from the row. Very, very nice. Very nice to see in person. And I immediately spotted 2 pairs of heels that I thought would totally fit the bill. One pair were these, I think they were like a Dolce & Gabbana kind of vintage pair. They felt really retro, a little bit kind of 50s and 60s to me. And they did have that point that I wanted, but maybe not as severe as I was kind of looking for. I'm looking for something a little bit sharper to fit my 3 words. And then I came across these amazing cherry red Miu Miu slingbacks. These were absolute perfection, and I wish my mic was plugged in for this because you can kind of see my reaction as I go through it. They didn't fit. They were a size 6.5. They were perfect. They were on sale. They also had an extra like 20 or 30% off certain prices. So this would have been 100% hell yes buy, but my heel was hanging off the edge of these. So unfortunately I had to let them go. And because I was so sad about those Miu Miu heels, I decided to just sift through the coats. That's kind of what I always do. I'll sort of start with shoes and then I go to coats and blazers. And then that's when I kind of expand out into other things like skirts, dresses, shirts, jeans, that type of thing. Because I'm Canadian, I just gravitate towards a good coat. And I saw this one from Maison Margiela M6 brand. So it's a branch of Margiela. And this was like the chicest version of Cookie Monster, Oscar the Grouch meets Park Avenue or something. It was just like the coolest teal blue fuzzy coat. It was so soft, so comfortable. It fit perfectly, but it was still $500 and I just could not justify that, but it was really, really cool. All right, this next shop is probably one of my favorite vintage shops in all of Toronto. Every time I go there, I never fail to leave with something that I absolutely love and just a perfect gem, and that is Black Diamond Vintage. It's like a hop, skip, and a jump down the street from VSP Consignment, so it's all still in the same area, but this is probably the coolest and quirkiest vintage shop I've ever seen. It is highly curated, so it's very, very clean and easy to go through, very visually pleasing, but as you can see from the decor, it's like super cool and quirky, and it's just a happy place to be. But they have so many awesome pieces, like true vintage pieces from the 70s, amazing leather jackets. Last time I was here, I got this fantastic fringe leather jacket that I just could not let go of, and the prices here are really good. They have a ton of vintage Levi's for a really, really excellent price. So if you're in Toronto and you don't want to pay a lot for vintage Levi's, definitely check out Black Diamond Vintage. I find you're going to pay a little bit extra when it comes to curated vintage like this, but I found the prices here extremely reasonable. Everything was in like really good shape, nothing smelled, everything was in really good condition. So I sort of sifted through everything, and everything here is nicely on display. So it's really not about the hunt. All you have to kind of do is just scan through, and I immediately saw these amazing Moto cowboy boots. These were so cool. I could not resist trying them on, and as you can see, they fit. These were like the perfect amount of distressed. I like how beat up they were, but they were still in nice condition. I like the height on them, so they were more of like a just below the knee type of boot, and I really like that they were brown. They kind of had a nice patina to them. I think I'll need to condition these a little bit when I get home and maybe take them to the cobbler to get resold at the bottom. But these were everything I was looking for, and yeah, I bought them, and they were a really, really good price. So success. All right, so place number 3 is another awesome spot that I think is a hidden gem in the Dundas West area of Toronto. It's just down the street again from Black Diamond Vintage from VSP. So this is all on the same drag, all on the same street, and that is Expo Vintage. This was a little bit of a less curated shop in my opinion than VSP and Black Diamond, but they still had a lot of really, really cool stuff. And this to me me is like one of your like true vintage shops. So they had a lot of really cool, like worn out, those like deliciously thin vintage band tees, graphic tees. They had a lot of awesome like army jackets and car coats and leather jackets. And they had a ton of vintage Levi's, Wranglers, Calvin Klein, so much good denim here. And because this one was still curated, but I would say a little bit less so, this is a store in my opinion where you will have to do a little bit more digging. I sifted through the jeans for a little bit, but I don't need any more jeans, let's be real. So I bypassed those for now, and instead I turned my attention to the leather jackets. I had my eye on some of these chocolate brown jackets, and I decided to try on this bomber, which was way too big as you can see, but I do really like that vibe. And I did not go with it though because one, it was way too big and it did smell like cigarettes. That kind of comes part and parcel with shopping vintage. Some pieces will have a bit of an odor to them, so they do need some love after the fact. But this store definitely worth checking out if you're in the city, but I did leave empty-handed. All right, let's show you what I got. I only ended up getting one thing on this trip. I'm still thinking about those Miu Miu Slimbacks from VSP, but they were just too small. It was so sad. But I did end up buying something from Black Diamond Vintage. If you're gonna be in Toronto, definitely check out Black Diamond Vintage because as you saw, it's just such a cool, quirky, but beautifully curated store, and the prices are really good. You can get a pair of vintage Levi's there for like between $60 and $70, which is an excellent price. Everything there is just like beautiful quality. I got this fringe leather jacket from them last time. My yellow sunglasses are from them. Yeah, I just feel like every time I go there, I can't leave empty-handed. I ended up getting these brown Moto cowboy boots. These are so sick, and they were $80, which I think is a very fair price for a more curated vintage shop. They're also in really great condition and they fit perfectly. They're really nicely lived in. I'm gonna have to recondition them just a little bit, but I kind of like that vibe for now. It's a little bit grungy, kind of edgy, but yeah, they were everything I was looking for, so I could not pass these up. I just think they are so cool. They're a really interesting color. I don't have a lot of brown boots, and I'm kind of trying to lean away from black anyway because I find it can feel really heavy and weigh things down. And now that I'm wearing a lot more color these days, I find that pairing color with brown sort of tones everything down a little bit and doesn't make it feel so harsh and contrasted. So I think these are really cool. I can't wait to style these for the spring and the summer. And these definitely fit into my 3 style words, which after I had my styling session with Alison Bornstein, we narrowed them down to minimal, sporty, and sharp. And sharp I also sort of interpret as a little bit edgy, which these definitely have. I think they are just really cool, very my style, and I am so excited to style these. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for coming thrifting with me. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this and kind of what I look for when I shop and how I shop. And thank you again to Merit for sponsoring today's video. If you wanted to save $22 on their exclusive weekday set, make sure you click the link in the description below, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.